Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola, and welcome back for another episode of The Road to Stardom. When Kristen Gilman arrived at Nassau Country Club for the 2014 U.S. Women's Amateur, little was expected of the rather unknown 16-year-old. 6 match play victories later, including a remarkable comeback in the title match versus Brooke Henderson, and Gilman was a feel-good Cinderella story.
Well, Dave, everything was different 4 years later at the Golf Club of Tennessee. By now, Gilman was a college star at the University of Alabama, looking to add a second women's amateur title to her trophy case before turning pro. Playing as one of the favorites, Gilman delivered, becoming the first two-time winner since Danielle Kang earlier in the decade.
Well, let's enjoy a trip down memory lane with two-time U.S. Women's Amateur champion Kristen Gilman.
Championship Sunday continues here from Nassau Country Club. Brooke Henderson with a 2-up lead through 28 holes of this 36-hole final match. And what a week it has been. What a great championship match it has been so far as well. Getting ready for her second, Phil.
And not a good spot at all, Brooke. Her ball has gone up fairly close to the lip of the bunker. She's going to have an awkward stance uphill, going to have to get the ball up quickly. She's got 154 yards to where the hole is cut today on the front middle of the green. I don't know that she can hit it that far. Growing up playing hockey, she certainly is very strong in the wrists and capable of hitting it a long way, so I don't want to say she can't, but I'd be very surprised if she could.
And with that steep embankment, this is one of the more elevated greens. Would it be smart just to play to the base, or is she going to try to get it to the front of the green?
Well, I think if you landed on that steep embankment, Kay, that's a good question. It's going to roll back down, all the way back down into the fairway. So you don't really lose anything unless you have a yardage you want to lay up to, say at maybe 70 or 80 yards. And I don't think that would be a bad play actually from here, because I just don't see how she could get it really close. The main thing is that you want to get it over the front lip of the bunker. You want to get it up there far enough where you've got a chance to make par, to at least make your opponent earn the victory on this hole.
She just can't seem to get comfortable with the club in her hand, and looks like she went down to a much more lofted club, maybe a sand wedge, where she had maybe a 7 or 8 iron out before. And I think that's the smart play. Don't try to do something that ends up backfiring and ends up costing you some confidence. And she's got an awkward stance, one leg in and out. She has the strength, the lower body, core strength to stay very steady. And look at how she even gets a little leg drive off of that awkward position.
Nothing easy about that for Henderson. So an opening here for Gilman. She gets ready for her second.
Yeah, and a perfect spot to be coming in from, 149 yards, hole on 14, steps on the left here. Little breeze in her face.
Her setup looks really good. She has a tendency to aim to the right. And she seems to have squared things up in the last 2 days.
Now back down at 11, Henderson. Her sister Brittany alongside caddying this week, getting ready for her third. And now you sort of know, Kay, what's in the store. Your opponent's up there, probably hole high, 25 feet. You have to find a way to try to make 4.
Exactly, and deflate your opponent just a little bit. You never want to outwardly give them a hole. You want to make your opponent have to work for the win.
Well, there's a little breeze back in their facing from the left, playing uphill 110 yards from this point. It does have a little bit of a backboard behind the hole where there's a ridge that if she flies it past the hole, it might come back towards the hole a little bit.
Here's a look at this ridge that Phil is talking about right here. It's probably about 5 paces behind, and she can afford to land it a little bit long and bring it back. She creates a lot of spin with her irons. She practices a lot with the men, tries to compete with them and keep up and beat them. Oh, excellent shot.
Well done by Henderson. She will have that for par, but Kristen Gilman has a birdie putt before that. While we have a moment, let's go down to Jane.
Well, thanks very much, Steve. I'm with Kristen Gilman's golf coach, Justin Pointer, from the Jim McLean Golf School in Fort Worth, Texas, and you just got in last night, Justin. Tell me your thoughts and your emotions as you watch your protege play in this wonderful amateur championship final.
Super excited for her. It's a great honor for her, for our golf school in Texas, and for the whole Jim McLean system to have another girl in USGA final. This is 2 years in a row, so this is fun.
We've noticed how much tenacity and just say never say die sort of attitude that Kristen has. Is that something that she was sort of born with, or have you been able to kind of bring that out of her at the school?
No, I wish we could take credit for it, but I think she was born with it. She's very tough, a nice competitor. She's never going to quit, and when you hit quality shots like that, it's a lot of fun.
And how long have you been coaching her?
Since 8th grade. So she'll be a junior next year.
Well, you've got a great one there. I applaud you for all you've done, and let's see what happens in the next few holes.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. Thanks for the time.
There you go. Thanks, Steve.
Taking a look at how Kristen Gilman has gotten here, and we've mentioned that she's taken out 4th-ranked Celine Boutier, 8th-ranked Su Young Oh, 10th-ranked Andrea Lee, and Justin saying, well, let's try to take down the 2nd-ranked amateur in the world.
Why not? Let's just pick them off that list.
Yeah, they've done quite well down there with some of the young junior golfers and the success they've had.
And his other student that he spoke of that was runner-up last year was Lakarabe Abe, who lost in the girls' junior final last year.
Also heading to Alabama.
I think they'll have a strong program.
Yes, they will. So Gilman now with a wonderful opportunity here for birdie to win the hole. Henderson with a great recovery, so she's inside of 5 feet for par. So an opportunity for Gilman to get one closer.
Should have a little bit of right to left movement to it. Usually takes 8 or 9 looks at the hole before she pulls the trigger. Her tendency usually is to come up a little short on her putts. Although at the 8th hole we saw her run it well by in 3-putt.
Not a lot of concessions in this championship match. That's about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet remaining. So a mark thrown down on that one. Henderson with this short one would be a really, really good par after the tee shot. And the smart play to not bite off more than she could chew with that 2nd.
Absolutely. You know, momentum is so important in these matches. You can get on a roll, but your time will elapse. You want to take advantage of it while you have it. And in order to make par here and have this hole after being stuck underneath the lip of that bunker, that can be momentum changing.
Interesting, she just asked Gilman to step aside a little bit and give her a little more space. Maybe felt like she was standing a little too close. You never want your opponent to feel like you've lost control, so by taking control, playing the way she did coming into this hole, even though she missed the drive, shows that she has control of her game and that she can make par from anywhere. The shadow of that plane goes right over as she putts.
That is good focus, right? Wow, how about that?
That was incredible. I was wondering if she was thinking about the plane or the putt. Obviously, it was the latter.
So Henderson in with par. She conceded the rest to Gilman, so the 29th hole halved with 4. Henderson maintaining her 2-up advantage in this championship match.
Very high ball flight, this one. Going right down the center. Maybe left center. That's a pretty good spot to approach.
Now on this hole this morning, Henderson made her only bogey. She drove it into the deep rough on the left side of the fairway. Her second shot, she couldn't advance it out of the rough. So let's see how she plays this one.
And there is some deep rough in places, Randy. I mean, it almost looks like that spots like patches of ochre or something is so thick. You have to really watch out for it. And her miss is to the left. And she missed the last one into the fairway bunker left. And see here if she makes a little bit of an adjustment.
Oh, that looked lovely. What a really strong swing there. The only place you don't want to miss it is right in the greenside bunker. And there's that's really nicely played.
Yeah, another couple of yards of carry would have been perfect, but not a bad play at all.
And important when you're hitting first, Phil, to get it on the green relatively close and then see what your opponent can do. And for the most part, Brooke hit second.
For the most part, she does, although I'm surprised. Gilman has kept up distance-wise as much as she has with Brooke. Brooke is very long off the tee. As front right hole location, you do have to be careful not to short side yourself in the right-hand bunker. Henderson with 163 yards here. Difficult up and down out of that bunker, short side yourself, not much green to work with.
She's a player that has a large repertoire of shots. She can shape things left to right and right to left. A little drop shot left to right would be nice here. Looks like she was set up right at the flag.
She's not happy with it.
And
and
that's
that's
the
why.
miss she didn't want, and so we'll see what sort of lie she gets in the bunker.
Just where Kay and Phil said she did not want to be, right of the green. Stay with us. Back live with Brooke Henderson from the bunker.
Difficult shot, but she does have an uphill lie, makes the shot a little easier. And it's still going to run out a ways by. Just a bad miss to miss over on that side of the green, Kay.
Yep, you with all that green to the left of the flagstick, I thought she'd set up for a little cut and kind of peel it in there, but she was aimed right at the flagstick and pushed it. Let's take a look at this bunker shot again. Set up fairly square. And maybe just didn't nip it quite enough, caught a little too much sand, and it didn't have a tremendous amount of spin on it.
So the door open a bit for Kristen Gilman to cut the lead of Henderson to 1 up.
And Randy, really time for her to put a good stroke on this, and at this point she really does need to make this and take advantage of this good shot. Not a lot of break in it. If anything, Kay, it might just peel a little bit to the right.
Oh, good looking putt. Wow.
There you go.
That is the third putt of some length that Kristen Gilman has dropped in this 36-hole final, and she has now cut Brooke Henderson's lead to 1 up through 30.
Let's take a look again. She's aiming just outside the left edge, and there's that gentle move to the right.
So the door was open just a bit, and Kristen Gilman took advantage.
Off-hole location here, Kay. Right up on top of that little knoll. Good drive is very important to be able to judge your distance on the approach.
Kristen hit it in the left rough here earlier today.
No, not today. She has ripped that one. That's a long drive.
And She's hitting it down grain. These fairways are mown in the traditional manner, down 2 cuts, one down and back into the grain, coming back towards the tee.
Henderson's high school golf team at Lake Travis High School is having a viewing party back in Austin today, so they're obviously watching this with interest as Henderson steps up.
She really lags that club around her on the way down, creates a lot of leverage. Flew that ball a long ways there. Nice shot.
Wow.
Kristen stands a lot more tall to the ball. And that's a beautiful shot. Very similar location to where she ended up earlier today, just closer. An even better shot than she hit this morning.
She is red hot the last few holes with those irons.
Dialed in, as we say.
Well, as Henderson prepares to play, Gilman's ball did come up. It's right in the middle of that ridge. And the front part of the screen slopes towards the players, the back part away. Henderson's on a downslope here, just 98 yards in the downslope, and she can utilize that downslope if she likes to play a little lower trajectory. Landed on the lower half as Gilman did, but get it to take one hop up on top of that ridge with some check. Let's see if she can execute that shot. She likes to hit low wedges.
Similar to what she did at 18 to end the round this morning.
Much lower trajectory, but she's flown it too far all the way up top.
And she actually ended up in that position earlier today too, so she knows that putt. Beautiful putt.
Similar to what she did this morning with a similar putt that she hit to putted to within 2 feet.
The hole locations all stay the same from the morning to the afternoon. That gives you the advantage of knowing perhaps some of the subtleties. They did change a couple of tee boxes on 2 of the par 3s to change the distance. And now Gilman with this birdie putt, Jane to win the hole and square the match back up.
Yes, and as Phil said, certainly not an easy putt. Has to come up a little rise and then it sort of flattens out right at the hole, but visually a little bit awkward. Will certainly have some left to right break in it as well. This would be a very, very good putt if she could make it. Beautifully done.
She's a money putter, isn't she?
Wow.
An outstanding day of putting this morning and this afternoon for Kristen Gilman, and we are now all square in the U.S. Women's Amateur Final through 32.
Stuck one in here tight in the morning 18. Oh, and wow, that's just about duplicating what she did 3-4 hours ago.
Awfully impressive by Kristen Gilman. We have seen it throughout the course of the week. Really, when a big shot is called for, she has an answer, and now the pressure squarely on Henderson, but certainly worth another look, Kay.
Well, we've talked about the sequence of the last 7-8 holes. She's just been dialing in her irons, getting better and better, and this one is spot on.
So that to maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet max. So an opportunity for Gilman perhaps to take a one-up lead, but Brooke Henderson will have something to say about that.
Well, Gilman's certainly been putting it on Henderson here of late. She has had, not including this hole, 6 holes in a row. She's put it inside of Henderson and had putts to win the hole. So Henderson feeling the pressure, and now really feeling the pressure after that. And she's put this ball all the way up within just 58 yards. Kind of an in-between yardage, a little bit maybe too close to get a lot of spin with this tight front hole location. If she gets this really close, it's going to require a very good shot to do so.
And she wants to keep it below the hole, but there's only 5 paces between the left front of the green and the hole on this angle where she's hitting.
There's the danger of being a little bit too close.
Yep.
Unable to control her distance with that in-between yardage.
Kind of sounded a little clunky.
So both players on the green, but Gilman with the advantage. She will have a great opportunity to go one up.
A really big mistake getting that close to the green, like you said, Phil, and also from that left-hand side, it was an awkward angle. She played aggressively on the 4th hole, and it paid off earlier today, but let's see what she does with this.
So a reasonable effort there for Henderson, and she actually might still be away for par before Gilman's birdie.
Well, at this point, I don't know that Henderson's been down this late in the match, which she is likely to be after this hole. And she has had some tight matches. Her match with Allison Lee, she was 1 up going into the 16th hole. It was a tight match. Allison Lee, an extremely good player, very talented. But it will be interesting to see how she responds to being down at this point now with 3 to play after this 15th, provided that it ends as though the way it looks as though it will on this hole.
Well, Kristen was 1 up this morning through 12. Brooke immediately won the 13th and then had that strong finish, birdieing 17 and 18 to quickly move 2 up as they went into lunch.
So yeah, the last time there at the 12th hole this morning, Kay, and maybe for about a brief period of about 15 minutes, she's had the advantage. When things got going at 8:30 this morning, we're now at 4:30 Eastern, and Gilman with a chance to take the lead once again. So another birdie for the 16-year-old resident of Austin, Texas. 1 up, 3 to go as they head to the par 3 16th.
That's going to be very disappointing to not give it a legitimate chance. It never had the correct speed.
So Kristen Gilman now playing in her first U.S. Women's Amateur Championship, was 3 down through 26 holes. Has this short one for birdie to win the hole and the championship.
Oh, what an amazing conclusion for this young lady if she can navigate this couple of foot putt. An amazing couple of weeks. Wow. Goodness. You just never know in this game, do you?
just didn't get off to a true pure roll at the very start. And that might have lost some of the speed. It kind of skittered and almost didn't. Oh, boy, that's a shocker.
Now she has almost the same distance coming back for par. So a par for Gilman. The hole is halved, but how quickly things have changed.
And that's where Kristen has to immediately say to herself, okay, it just didn't go in.
Still have the lead.
I have the lead.
One to go.
No big deal. Let's not make a bigger thing of this than it is.
But these are 16-year-olds. Easier said than done.
You see them play like this all day long, under par, and then suddenly you get a reminder, these are 16-year-olds.
Difficult fairway to hit, rather crowned. Can't see the landing area.
Remember, when you're up, and when you're one up, she's essentially dormy. I mean, it's kind of silly to say that with one hole, but she just has to have this hole.
That's a good way to answer right
Brooke,
there.
Yeah, that's a great way. And Brooke, Phil, has to win the hole.
She does. A breath of fresh air for her now. She thought that her U.S. women's amateur life was over on that last hole. She's breathing life again, but her opponent is split the fairway with her tee shot there, and so Brooke will need to respond with a good one here. As Jane said, a difficult fairway to hit. It's a crowned look from the tee box.
Sister likes it, that ever-present voice of support from Brittany. Two excellent drives.
Gilman.
I wonder what she's saying to herself right now. I wonder what both players are saying to themselves.
Gilman trying to knock off her 4th top 10 ranked women's amateur this week. She's number 57 in the world right now. But that will be changing, I have a feeling, the next time the rankings are updated.
Well, I think you're completely right there, Randy. Wow, I've been so impressed. I've followed her the last few matches. There is no give up, tenacity, confidence, self-assuredness. And I would bet that she's just contemplating one shot at a time. What's done is done. Certainly Kay, much better position to be one up than one down. Just 126 yards. Hole today on the back right plateau. A little bit of a backstop behind it, but very fast from back there. So if you could be just over that ridge, that would be ideal. Put a quality shot in here and force your opponent to play a better one. Bringing it in very high. That's pretty darn.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
If missing that putt on 17 bothered her in the least, she certainly hasn't shown it.
Beautiful shot.
It's too bad we can't have two champions this week.
I know, it's very similar to 2 weeks ago at the Girls Junior. We had two worthy champions who played beautiful golf, seeing the same thing here with these two young ladies.
Last year, Emma Talley became the first University of Alabama golfer to win the women's amateur. Now a young woman committed to the University of Alabama, just 16 years of age. Kristen Gilman is just a couple of feet away from wrapping up this tournament.
Her big key for her was to not get ahead of herself, and she has proven that she has the ability to stay in the moment, shaking off that short miss on the last hole and sticking it in tight here at 18. Let's see the shot again. Look at that beautiful balance She has been money online with all her iron shots on this back nine, and none more than when it mattered most. It gives me shivers to watch these girls rise to the occasion and play this level of golf for the national championship, the most coveted championship in women's golf, and they're playing like champions, both of them.
Kristen Gilman's been battle tested all week. Her round of 64, she won 1 up. She beat Celine Boudier in the round of 32 in 20 holes, Sue Oh in 20 holes. And she certainly dug deep this morning and this afternoon.
Well, the putt here for Henderson now, it's hard to summon up the courage at this point, because you, in your mind, your partner's putt, it's only 2 feet. You know that she's going to make that. You're thinking she is, but you got to convince yourself, hey, you never know. She missed it on the last hole. Maybe she'll miss it again. But you got to summon up that inner strength to go ahead and knock this putt in. It's going to move to the right. It's not the easiest of putts, because it should work pretty hard to the right, even though it's very close.
So that should do it for young Kristen Gilman. 2 putts from 2 feet to wrap up the Women's Amateur Championship. In her very first start in this tournament, she now becomes the first to win the Women's Amateur in her first try in 8 years.
Well, thanks very much. It's hard to get a word in. Kristen Gilman, how does U.S. Women's Amateur Champion sound at age 16?
It sounds awesome. I'm so excited, and I don't know, it just sounds great.
Well, you showed so much tenacity. I'm just so impressed. Where do you take it from here?
I don't know. I guess my next tournament is Junior Ryder Cup, so I guess that.
Well, that's not a bad tournament to follow up. Congratulations and enjoy this one.
Thank you.
Back to you now, Randy.
16 years old, Kristen Gilman.
A great look here for the final day of the Golf Club of Tennessee, a fantastic host for this 118th U.S. Women's Amateur Championship. We have 2 foes, soon to be teammates, battling it out in the championship match. It's been all Kristen Gilman in the opening 18 holes. This at the 13th this morning, her second shot. Skirts the bunker up to just a few feet. In control early. She's just been hitting fairways, hitting greens, and rolling in putts. Now at 14, Gilman, the 2014 champion, for birdie to win the hole. This to go 7 up. No give up in her. But at the 17th, Ji-Won Jeon would make birdie to win that hole, and at 18, this for par and up and in. Jeon gets it to go. Gilman would miss her putt, just her second bogey of the day, so the 7-up lead was 5 up at lunch. Now at the 19th hole, Jeon here for par to have the hole. For the second time, she would lose the opening hole. She's now 6 down to Gilman.
If she can get this to 6 up, what is she going to have to do on the last 9 holes being 6 down, Julie?
Yeah, she's going to have to keep those swings that she's doing right there. Make like 4 or 5 of those swings in a row.
But don't count Gilman out here either.
No.
She can make this.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, she just keeps putting the pressure on her.
Other one looking. Got a little bounce on that one early.
I think I just give it to her. There you go. She picks it up.
they head over to the back 9 of the USGA match play.
6 holes. 3-1 by each player as we make the turn. Look there at the 10th. Curtis Strange will be making his triumphant return to our team next week at the US Amateur. We get going at 5 p.m. Eastern on FS1 from Pebble Beach. Excited for that week as we look at this par 3.
And his 10th hole today. This morning it played 118 yards, but they moved that pin. Today it's going to play 141 yards. Plays a little downhill. You got that Brush Creek on the right. That definitely comes into play. It's looming. Long is no good here. That back hole, or front hole location today, they'll be able to use that backstop.
When you drive into the property here, this is the first hole you see. You look over to the right and you go, God, look at that. It's nice. It's not really that intimidating until you get that flag out to the side and miss the green,
all the
spin it off.
All the 5 par 3s too have water on them. 9 holes have hazards on them, so every hole has a little bit of issues that you got to pay attention to.
And we talked about, I think Ed Michaels mentioned in the last few broadcasts, how many times Tom Fazio changed the routing here, how many different choices he had. I mean, the ground moves around a lot here. The first 3, 4, 5 up on the hill there, using some rock outcroppings. Brush Creek winds around, meanders throughout this whole place.
Right now they're going in the back 9 here. You got Kristen Gilman, who's 6 up. You got Jiwon, who's 6 down. You're going to have different philosophies, different ways. Kristen Gilman just says, just give me the fairway, give me the green. And Jiwon's, she's going to have to say, okay, I need to make some birdies, and I need to make 3 or 4 in a row. Because 6 up, I mean, when it gets down to 2 or 3 or 4 up,
she can't lose any more holes.
No,
she's got to go. I remember when Dennis Conner, who was the America's Cup captain, it was in Newport, Rhode Island. He was about to lose this. So the America's Cup had been won by America by over 150 years. It was the longest running trophy by any one country, and he was getting crushed. And he started throwing stuff out of the boat to lighten the boat up to see if he could catch up. And that's what John has to do now. She has to do everything she can. Unload the bag, fire at every flagstick.
And she's got a great swing to do that. And you just saw that 6-iron she hit on last hole. It was beautiful.
This is going to be a 7-iron from 141 yards. Slight breeze coming out of the right. She does have that backstop. She can hit this really up to a good 150, 151 yards.
Good yesterday or 2 days ago. That's a difficult putt.
And we have seen Kristen use these backstops a lot. I mean, she's making them their friends, and she's really pulled the right clubs to do that.
And Julie, she's done that here again. This is going to be a 7-iron. She usually hits that around 148, 150 yards.
Julie, if she plops this back onto the top of the tier and uses a slope, if it can get all the way back down to this.
Well, with her putting, it doesn't need to be too far.
You're exactly right.
12 to 15 feet.
See her line left to hit a little bit of a draw.
Nice shot there.
Okay, shot. Good ball.
And here it comes.
Quite getting all the way back down there, but a good shot. She's going to get a little look at the line from Jean. It's just to the right of that ball from the camera's view.
They're about on their 10th mile right now. Nicole, I'm sure you're on your 10th mile also, but when you put all those miles together this week, it's a long week for them, not only physically but mentally, and it's hot.
You know, the players use those distance measuring devices. Sometimes when you don't quite get it, you get the trees behind you that aren't that far. I wonder if, like on 11, did that happen there? If she hit it right at the flag, it was 10 yards too far. That's a big difference with a wedge. You know, big mistake.
Well, her caddy, Eric Fisk, carries a measuring device that's one of the pixelated ones that can only hit the pixels. It can't really hit the tree. It's only going to pick those up. But we weren't sure if he actually pulled his out for the number at the time, but you never know. Over the green, lost the hole. Now at the 10th or 28th hole of the day, and needing to win a whole bunch of holes in a hurry.
And you don't want to do that by putting first. You want to win a whole bunch of holes by knocking it closer and being the second one to putt. This is a tricky little putt, Nicole.
Definitely a tricky putt. She's in the bowl here to the left side of the green. It's going to shoot it right at the start, but then there's that mound at the front of the green that will influence it. Right in the middle of the putt, it will flatten out ever so slightly.
We have seen her speed throughout this week. She can get a little frisky on these long putts.
You see her caddy pointing out left to a spot. This is kind of an awkward putt, as you said, Julie, because you have to putt uphill for the break, and then once it turns,
I'm looking at
pick
that,
up speed.
I'm looking at that hazard stick out there, Nicole. That's where I'd line it up.
Put it to a spot, let gravity do the rest.
Yes. Thought she'd get a little bit of more roll off that downhill slope. She left herself a good 4-foot, 5-foot putt.
Well, Julie, we've seen her do that a few times throughout the course of the day. It's where she takes so much time to hit the putt. You just have to think if she just walked up to it and hit it, she'd have a better chance of getting it closer than that.
Yeah, what's the sentence that sometimes they just fall in love with the line and forget about the speed.
Right, you know, Julie, I teach a lot of players that ask about greens reading and stuff to put a ball down. Every time you play a pressure, have your caddy put a ball down on maybe the farthest spot away from the hole. And just without letting yourself line it up, just see what your instincts show you. Hit that putt without walking the distance and just get it used to doing that and practicing.
Gilman to win the hole. Got it again.
I'd like to know how many feet of putts she has made this week.
Unbelievable. Gilman 7 up, a chance to go to the 11th and win this championship.
And I think you have to have that mentality in match play.
Solheim's next year, Julie?
Next year, 2019, Glen Eagles. Maybe Kristen Gilman will be on that team.
For this young lady. Perfect.
Oh, did you see how straight that tracer was? You can't draw a line that straight. And what do you think about that? I mean, I love rookies. I love people that are playing great like that. They'll do anything you tell them to. They'll play with anybody you want them to.
Exactly. I had 4 rookies on my team last year, and it was just like a breath of fresh air. They really don't know what to expect. You put them with a veteran.
And Julie, I would definitely say this is not Jean's best day. Ji-Won Jean, you're going to watch out for her. She's getting better. She's going to be in this atmosphere that's going to just be so conducive to learning and improving. Like you said, the short game area that they have there, Nick Potter, the coach, national championship contending team. And
she wants to improve. I mean, she's 21. You know, this is, you know, the next couple years are big years for her because I know she wants to turn professional. Guys, just imagine, you see all that water there. I mean, you can't imagine it. But golf course come back brilliantly.
Unbelievable. What great pictures there, Holly. Good job. Jeff Huber, the superintendent here. I mean, give this guy some credit because this is tough conditions. You know, you got this humidity, this heat, and it's constant. It's here for 2-3 months. And bent grass is kind of in that tough climate here for bent grass. These are beautiful surfaces, and that's why they went with Zoysia, because it's kind of in that area where you could go Bermuda for part of the year and then it dies, and then the bent grass just in the summer is tough. But these are remarkable.
John here with her second.
And we're seeing her go with the more aggressive play here. She's got 272 yards to the flagstick, but she only has 249 yards front. She could scoot this within, I'd say, 15 to 25 yards just short of the green, leave herself a good opportunity for a pitch at eagle.
Especially with that back hole location, she can maybe be able to run it up there and run it back there. We've got a nice kick there, Brad.
Didn't she? Yeah, it looked like it could have kicked into the bunker. And I like this thought here. Get it down in the hole location way on the back. There's plenty of room there. She might have to go over the edge of the bunker. Still plenty of space there to stop the ball, and it looks like Gilman's going through it as well.
I'm glad she put that 4 hard right away.
Kristen's got 262 yards, 239 front, coming off the slight downslope. Will help the ball chase.
Good swing.
That's some good teammates right there.
Boy, that's awesome.
It'd be hard to miss that number. I got two caddies right there shooting the exact same yardage. Well, Kristen Gilman, of course, won this championship in 2014. Julie, you won it 3 times in a row. Gilman a chance to win it for the second time.
Yeah, she talked about the World Amateur team. You know, when I wasn't really a top amateur player when I won it in 1980, I got invited to the World Amateur team, which I didn't even know they had. But take the top 3 Americans against play against the world, and it happened to be over in Switzerland, which darn the luck, I had to go. But it was such a great experience for me. And then when I won the next year, I got invited to play on the Curtis Cup, and you know me and team championships. I love that. In fact, Carol Simple was my partner all through the matches.
If Gilman does win, she'll be an automatic selection to that Women's World Amateur team. They're playing it in Ireland. Jennifer Kupcho already on the team because she was #1 in the world as of a certain date.
That's a pretty formidable team right there, Kupcho and Gilman. And I'll add one more, I'm sure, after today. Go through the rankings.
Also with the win, Gilman will be the first player since Amanda Blumenhurst to win the women's AM the same year she played in the Curtis Cup. Blumenhurst on the winning side for Team USA at the Old Course in St. Andrews. Of course, Gilman on that epic victory earlier this summer at Quaker Ridge, where she was perfect. Blumenhurst also the last medalist to win this championship. That was something Lucy Lee was trying to do, co-medalist. Gilman in control.
And the LPGA has one more major. It's Evian, which I'm sure if Kristen was to hold on and win this thing, would be invited to that. And that's over in France, which is real close to Switzerland. France.
Thank you. Gotta stay with your accent.
From 67 yards.
Shot of a champion right there. Gilman, all the pressure now on John.
And Shane, you know, when you have a great player with short irons. You know, you control your distance well, and you control that distance by controlling your trajectory. And the greatest wedge players in the world, men and women, do it by bringing that trajectory down. And maybe the ball bounces a little bit harder, but she controls the height. It's easier to control the height with a little bit less loft, so hands are forward. She did just a perfect shot there to hit out of this first cut. Now Jean.
Kristen actually with a better lie at being in the first cut. This one sitting down a little bit.
What an answer there. Going away yet.
Shane, that's just beautiful, isn't it? Both of them. Two different ways to do it.
And Brad, that right there, what you're talking about, the type of player that she is and the type of player that she can be.
There's no quit on there, and you see that strike down that ball a little bit higher than Gilman's. We talked about a little bit more of an open club face, a steeper backswing, a straighter ball flight. Gilman likes to draw it. Most players that draw the ball hit the ball a little bit lower. Hands are more forward normally. Now Gilman's got to make her putt.
The Gilman win here, and it will be over.
Kristen hasn't given that putt yet to Jean. Pretty close, I thought.
Brad, I love the pace that Kristen hits her putts. She makes every putt. You know, every putt is going in with authority. In comparison to Ji Won's, you can tell hers just kind of die in there when she does make them.
I like her little routine. Those two practice strokes right behind the ball and gets up. Doesn't seem to waste a lot of time.
I'm going to say she makes it, Brad. Like 0 for 11.
Going out on a limb, Marty.
Right.
All right, I just needed to get one on the board.
There you go.
Just had to have one.
Gives it to John, so they'll go on. Kristen Gilman now. Dormy 7.
Gilman 4. John 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. They tied with the pars. I was reading the 11th hole. Just got a little bit behind myself. Shocker. Looks like Kristen's going with that patent driver. We haven't really seen her hit any 3-woods off a tee. She's been just trying to hit driver all day long.
And Julie, the farther she gets this up the left side of the fairway, the better angle she'll have to that right hole location.
Dropped it any better, Nicole. But she just left side of that fairway. She's going to have a perfect view in. Sure if it kicked in the bunker. You just kind of maybe hope it did, because that would not be a good lie.
Clearly right now, Jean's only playing for pride.
Yes.
She knows she can't win.
But you know what?
7 holes in a row. You just kind of got to gut it out and, you know, try and make this match extend as long as she can. It's going to help her experience going forward, just having been here.
This is going to be a grip down pitching wedge from 112 yards.
The thing is, it's so easy to get that club head to twist. You got to try to keep that thing open all the way through.
Stance and lie, Julie.
Yes.
Makes the pace point out there to the left.
This is going to be a sand wedge from 97 yards. Look for her to fly this all the way to the hole.
That's a shocker.
Swirly wind.
Here, caddy say swirly wind, but that's the first wedge. She didn't get back to the hole. All the wedges we watched her hit all week long. Well, Nicole, we misread that at the end. I thought it was going to go back to the left, back to the right.
Well, I think it's just because she flew it so far with so much pace.
Now Kristen Gilman, 2 putts for the championship here at the 12th. Since defeating Brooke Henderson in 2014, she went out in the second round in 2015 and 2016. The round of 16 a year ago in San Diego, but Kristen Gilman showed up today with her absolute A game. Has been impressive since the start. Just needs to get this down in 2, and the title is hers.
Aggressive putt there. Can't give that putt yet, but again, G1 has to make this and hope Gilman misses. What's going through that brain of hers, Julie? About to win her 2nd women's amateur.
She goes, I can't believe I just didn't lag it up there. Why do I make things so difficult? That's what I'd be telling myself.
Boy, this is for pride right here. You want to make this putt. You don't want to go down, make it a bogey, and make it too easy.
Or will take this match one more hole. This for the championship. The summer of Kristen Gilman continues. A 2nd U.S. Women's Amateur title.
Gilman 4, John 4. Gilman wins 7 and 6.
perfect at the Curtis Cup this year. A professional victory.
Yes.
And now she adds her name to a very short list of multiple winners of the amateur, and she does it 7-6.
Congratulations. Well, I need a phone call with you. She played extremely well. I mean, she had a tough match in the corners, in the semis, going 19th hole. There's a big hug from her dad.
I'm so proud of you.
Her mom.
Thank you.
But she played well. She played dominant. She putted amazing. And, you know, you look at Lauren Stevenson, she missed a lot of short putts, but no short putts for Kristen Gilman.
Mark and Laura giving their daughter a hug. Well deserved. What a performance today. Got off to such a hot start. 5 up after 9 holes.
Now I'd like to present the Robert Cox Trophy, Kristen, for the second time.
You want to keep it, or you want to put it back on the podium for a second?
I'll put it back.
It's beautiful. Robert Cox Trophy. Kristen, congratulations. A fantastic week. From start to finish today, you were in control. It's like you've done this before or something, right?
Yeah, I know. It was a while ago, but I just kind of had to keep telling myself I've done this before so I can do it again.
And what made it go so smoothly? The last 2 matches before this took you to 19 holes, and you only were leading on that final green. Today, why was it so easy?
Yeah, I think those last 2 matches were too stressful, and I decided that I'm just, from right off the gate, I'm just going to go out there and try and make as many birdies as I can and just get up as many as I can at the 18, so I didn't have to stress as much on the second 18.
And how special was it today to share this win alongside your future teammate in Jiyoung?
Yeah, it was amazing. She's a great player, and I really enjoyed playing with her, and I'm excited to be teammates.
That Alabama team is looking pretty strong this fall. What's the plan going forward when you're heading back to school?
I'll go home for about a week, and then I'll go back to school and get everything started, and I'm excited to start college golf again.
And what does it mean to you to add your name to that storied list of other champions who have won multiple times, like Julie Inkster, Joanne Carner? Now you're part of that.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I never thought that I would be able to do it twice, especially after the first one and everything I went through. And so it's an incredible feeling to be able to win it twice.
Kristen, a very deserving champion. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 U.S. Women's Amateur Champion, Kristen Gilman.
Reunited 2014-2018, Gilman 7-6.